Mayor Rothschild famously said, you might have heard this one before, "Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws." Henry Kissinger, control the food, control the nation, control the energy, control the region. If you control the money, you control the world. As far as controlling the money, it's a communist idea. 10 points of communism in Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto. Point number 5 here is to establish a central bank. The very fact that the United States has a central bank, that's communist. All these nations all have central banks. And then under those central banks, then you have like commercial banks. And that would be in the US, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. Internationally, it would be HSBC, Deutsche Bank, Germany, etc. So you have the central banks, and then you have the commercial banks underneath them. I'll give you a little diagram of how this works. So here we have the Fed, or this could be the ECB, or whatever central bank you have. And then underneath that, you have the commercial banks. And this could be Wells Fargo, it could be Deutsche Bank, whatever nation that you're in. And then down here is us. That's we the people. All right, so that's all coordinated by the BIS. Then down here, we have these policymakers. So this is like the World Economic Forum, Club of Rome, Chatham House, Rockefellers, etc. These are like the think tanks. They are the policymakers. Then we have the policy distributors, the UN, the IMF. So then the IMF sits there. IPC, World Bank, etc. Then we have the policy enforcers. This is the national government. So you remember, or you might have heard in the United States, for example, we've decided to lay down our sovereignty to the WHO, World Health Organization. So they distribute the policies, and the United States will enforce that policy. Down here below, we have the propagandists, and this is all mainstream media. And then, of course, down here is you and I, the policy subject. You have to understand, the game is being played up here. It's not being played down here where you and I are distracted. So now that you understand that framework, so BIS sits at the top. The BIS is the big boss, right? If you were playing a video game, you have to defeat the final boss. And it's sort of fitting that the boss of the BIS is the big boss.